Hey everybody, welcome to Garden Time with Belle. I am in my office on this cold, blustery mid-January day, and it's a good thing because I'm going to be sharing with you all my seeds that I recently purchased for this year, and these seeds are going to be my cut flowers that I'm going to be growing this season. So I am so excited you're here, and I want to get into it right away and let you know what I've selected for 2026, and we'll talk a little bit about tips and tricks for starting seeds, especially cut flower seeds. So those of you that follow my channel, you probably saw a recent video of my Proven Winners Direct online plant order. And I referenced that, and you might want to check that out if you haven't seen it yet. Super exciting to be getting all of those plants delivered to me in April. But as I mentioned in that video, I grow far more things from seed than I ever do purchasing plant starts. But you know, in my early years as a gardener, I was too afraid to start seeds. I didn't know much about seed starting. And so I would say only about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe, is when I started getting brave and I thought, you can do it. You can start your own seeds and you can grow hundreds and hundreds of plants for a fraction of what I would pay for them at a nursery. So I hope this will inspire you to take the plunge and maybe get your feet wet a little bit if you don't want to take the full plunge into seed starting. But today's not going to be so much about how to start your seeds. I've got a whole playlist on seed starting, so check that out on my page. Today's going to really be about getting excited about which flowers I'm going to grow so that I can cut and bring them into the house and give them away as gifts. So before we hop into me sharing with you which varieties I'm going to be growing this season, I'm going to invite everybody to please like and subscribe to my channel. If you're new to my channel, I'm so glad you found me. And if you are already a subscriber, thank you so much for supporting this channel and all things gardening. Okay, enough about that. Couple of things before we get into it. I'm going to be showing you the packets of seeds, especially if they are, and I don't have a lot, that actually have pictures of the mature plants, but I'm also going to be putting some photos on the video. I'll be popping up some photos so you can see what I'm talking about, because who wants to just listen, right? It's about show and tell. Anyhow, that's how I like to learn. I'm a visual person, so I'm going to do my best to do that. What I want everybody to know is the photographs that I'm going to pop up on the screen on some of the plants I'm growing are not my photographs. They were taken directly from the websites of these particular seed companies, and I'll be sure and tell you what companies I ordered my seeds from. So I just want to make that disclaimer. They're not my photos. They are the company's photos, and why not use those as inspiration for everybody? Wanted you to know that. The other thing that I have been working on, if you follow my videos, you know how organized I am. That's just my brain. I really admire those of you that can just freewheel it and grow a lot of things without any planning, but this gal cannot do that without her trusty calendar. And it's in December and January that I take time to actually create a little calendar on my computer, and this is for 2026. And what I do here is I look at all the things I want to start from seed. So this is my seed starting catalog. My seed starting calendar, blah. I need another drink. Here, hang on a second. Okay, now maybe my mouth will work. I'm so excited, can you tell? Okay, so I put everything on here. I'm going to start from seed and when I need to start the seeds, and it can get complicated. And I grow many different things from seed. Today, we're only going to cover the cut flowers that I'm growing from seed, but in my next video, I'm going to bring you along and we're going to look at all the veggies that I'm going to grow from seed, which is way more than the cut flowers. And so if I don't have a calendar, I can't keep up with when I need to start these seeds. And the way you figure out when to start the seeds is read the seed packets. They'll tell you so many weeks before your average last frost, and then you have to count backwards. So just to give you a little bird's eye view, you're not going to be able to read this, and that's sort of not the point, but the way that I like to organize it is like in March, I'm going to be sowing a bunch of seeds, and the ones you see in green that I've highlighted are veggies. and the ones you see in yellow are flowers. So that's kind of how I keep them organized in my mind. So believe it or not, let's see, we are in the middle of January, and I have on my calendar for next week to start my snapdragons and geraniums. Yes, my average last frost here in my Zone 6 Mid-Missouri garden isn't until the end of April. But I need to start snapdragons and my geraniums soon, like in January. And I'll tell you more about that, and I'll tell you why in just a little bit. All right, let's get into it, shall we? Let's just start at the top. So I'm going to go through these varieties in the order in which I'm going to start sowing them. So starting next week, I'm not going to bore you with when, because you're going to start your seeds depending upon when your average last frost is. So if you're tuning in from California, you guys, oh my gosh, you can start everything right now, basically. If you're tuning in from northern Michigan, north Wisconsin, yeah, you're going to be waiting a while to start your seeds. So you guys can figure that out on your own. But for this gardener, I'm going to do it in the order from January through April would be the last time I'll be starting any seeds for this season. So here we go. All right. Again, these are cut flowers, and I am determined to be successful in learning how to grow snapdragons. And so I'm going to put a picture on the screen. I ordered some snapdragon seeds from Johnny Seeds, and I am going to grow the Madam Butterfly mix. Snapdragons. I came across an amazing professional flower farmer. I wish I could remember her name, but what I can tell you is her YouTube channel, Regenerative Gardening, I think. I'll make sure I include a link in the description below. She is outstanding. She has taught me so much, and I'm following her advice on snapdragons. I'm not going to go into a great detail. Snapdragons come in all these different categories. I'm trying to grow the hot weather snapdragons, but her recommendation is you need to be starting these weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, like 12 to 14 weeks before they're going to go out in your garden. So I'm starting them next week. All right. Can't wait to try those. Something I'll be growing again, but these are different varieties this year. I am growing zonal geraniums or pelargonium. I can't remember. I don't know how you pronounce it. Doesn't matter. But they're your standard type of geraniums. And I have some pictures that I'll be putting on the screen for you all. Just take a peek. And let me find that picture. Okay. So these Maverick style geranium seeds come from Swallowtail Gardens, and I'm going to grow 3 varieties this year. Last year I think I grew, I don't know, several different varieties. I grew the Maverick Bullseye Coral, but I'm going to switch it up this year. Remember, this year is all about deep, bright, saturated color. So here's what I'm going with. I am going to be growing the Maverick Rose geranium, the Maverick Star geranium, and the Maverick Apple Blossom geranium. Now, the Apple Blossom is a beautiful, softer color compared to the other 2 I just mentioned, but I mean, you got to throw in some softer colors every once in a while. So super excited about that. I've grown Maverick style geraniums in the Bullseye series from Swallowtail Gardens. Amazing germination rate. In fact, they're such great seeds that when I put them in my seed cell trays, I put 1 in each section because germination, I hardly ever have to put 2 seeds in a tray in the little cell because I know they're going to germinate. They're that good. So, yep, Swallowtail Gardens. I'll make sure I include the link to those in the description below. Okay, you know I love trying my hand at new things. So here's a new thing. This is a Johnny's, and this is a Verbena bonariensis. I keep hearing about how spectacular these flowers are, and I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to try them from seed. Supposedly, they're a tender perennial, which means, and I think zone 6 plus, they might come back in the garden, and I'm a zone 6, so we'll see. But I'm going to start them from seed as well and dot them in and amongst probably my flower borders around the house. They, I guess, get 3 to 4 foot tall. They send up these long spikes with beautiful purpley blue flowers on the top. So this is a brand new one. I've never tried to grow it from seed, so wish me luck. Okay, recently I posted a video, I think it was entitled Free Gifts from Epic Gardening. I adore Epic Gardening as a YouTube channel. Learned a lot from Kevin at Epic Gardening, but also as a company. Gosh, last year, if you came along, we purchased our Birdies metal raised beds from Epic Gardening, 4 of them. And this year, we're installing 4 new ones this spring. So my husband's already modifying a little bit of my raised bed garden to retrofit the old wooden ones for the new ones that are coming. And when I placed the order at Epic Gardening for my new Birdies raised beds, I got a ton of free gifts. One of the free gifts that I got from purchasing those raised beds was a giant stack of seeds. They're botanical interest Epic Gardening seeds. So you're going to see that today, but you're really going to see me using a lot of their seed in the next video that you'll get to watch, where I'm going to show you what veggies I'm growing. And so here's one from Epic Gardening, the Marigold French Red Cherry. Why am I growing French style marigolds? Because they are really great to pair with your vegetables. They repel pests you don't want eating your beautiful vegetables, and they just bring beauty to the garden, and marigolds are super easy to grow. All right, cinnamon basil from Johnny's Seeds. Now, this is an herb. Why is this in the cut flower video? Because cinnamon basil makes an amazing filler for any kind of bouquets. And you let it go to seed. You let this get mature. Cinnamon basil has dark, beautiful foliage with sort of purple flowers. And so you let them produce flowers. I sometimes, though, will cut it before they produce their flowers, but it makes a wonderful filler for floral arrangements. So get your hands on some cinnamon basil as a filler for your cut flowers. Okay, here's another Epic Gardening selection, nasturtiums. I've grown these beautiful edible flowers for years and years and years. I grow these all over the vegetable garden. I've also grown them in my green stalk vertical planter. And these particular seeds I will be direct sowing. So everything else up to this point, let me look real quick. All of the other things I shared with you, I'm going to start in seed cell trays. But sometimes I like to direct sow, and nasturtiums, they're so easy to just pop right in the soil wherever you want them to be growing in your garden. So this is called the Tip Top Mix. All right, the next in the sequence in terms of the calendar that I'll be putting in my garden probably the last week of April, and that's going to be my new shipment of dahlia tubers from Swan Island Dahlias. Swan Island Dahlias, I have had great luck with purchasing their tubers. They are expensive. I'm just going to tell you that. When you see them on the screen, you're going to think, oh my gosh, Belle, are you serious? But you know what? Here's the thing. You buy one tuber from them, and the way that dahlias grow, that one tuber can turn into 6, 10, 12 tubers that you separate at the end of the season. You can take one plant and turn it into many plants. So it is a decent investment in my opinion. All right, so I'm not going to take a lot of time. I can do a whole video on dahlias another time, but this is what I'm growing this year. I'm going to grow Cherish, Spooktacular, Nighty Night, Summer's End, Mai Tai, Gets Crazy, Cornell Bronze, Marn, and Sun-Kissed. And here's my thought process. This is why I selected this kind of color palette, is because, as you may or may not know, dahlias typically do not start blooming for me until mid-August, and they bloom all the way up to our first really hard frost. They are most spectacular in my garden in September and early October. And so that's the time that a lot of my other things that I've grown as cut flowers are starting to kind of wane. This is when dahlias start to show off. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go out of my comfort zone this year, and I'm going to pick tubers, varieties of dahlias that have more of a fall motif. So you can see what I shared on the screen. I've got deep, deep burgundies and purples and bronze and orange, which is not something I grow a lot of. So those kinds of sunset and fall colors, I'm hoping will make some gorgeous fall bouquets. All right, 2 more cut flowers that are going to be grown from seed this year, and that would be my beloved zinnias and celosia, or celosia. I don't know how to say it. It doesn't matter. What I can say is they're gorgeous. I have decided on growing 3 different varieties of zinnias. So the first 2 I'm going to share with you come from Baker Creek. And I've had these seeds for a year. So I bought them for last year and I never got them in the ground, but I have found Baker Creek, Johnny's, Swallowtail, and Epic Gardening seeds have great germination rates. And in fact, I have saved seed for 3, 4, 5 years, and they do great. They continue to germinate. So I'm not worried that these seeds are a little bit old. I think they're going to be just fine. All right, so what variety am I going to grow? All right, I'm going to grow Queen Lime Blush. Look at that. These are going to be direct sown. Sorry to explain what that is. They're going to go directly into the spot in my raised bed where I'm going to harvest them. These are going to pair beautifully with some of those dahlias because this is really wonderful fall, isn't it? Fall-like. And so are these. So another Baker Creek variety, Queen Lime Red. These are super popular, I guess. Flower farmers out there say that they're just amazing and really, really popular. And I think those will be beautiful all summer long, but especially in the fall with some of my other fall arrangements. So yeah, those 2 zinnia types are from Baker Creek Seeds. And the last on my list is my order, and I don't have it yet. I think it's going to be coming soon, but from Floret Seed. You know how much I love Floret Seed. Their seed is very special, and the prices reflect that. But let me just tell you that the zinnias and the celosia that I grow from Floret, I save their seed, and then I have gobs of seed for years to come, and I give away that seed to my sweet friends and family members. So the initial upfront cost for a packet of seed, yeah, it's kind of pricey, but if you save your seed, you'll have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of plants for years to come. So new varieties from Floret this year. And I think I'll be able to share with you on the screen the pictures from Floret. So I am going to go with the Zinnia Unicorn Mix. Check it out. Talk about flower power. I decided I am just going to go bam with saturated bright colors and pinks and oranges and lavender and pale pink and dark pink and all the colors. So yeah, I'm going to try that this year. And look at what I'm going to pair with it. Celosia, I grew it for the first time last year, Flamingo Feather, and it was fantastic. It was fantastic. And every time I gave bouquets away that were filled with zinnias or dahlias, everybody asked me, well, what's that flower? And I'm like, that's celosia. And so could not be easier to grow these, and they produce a ton of seeds, as I said before. Okay, Spun Sugar and Rose Gold. So I'm going to plant both of those. The Spun Sugar, as you can see, is much more deeply saturated with pinks and lavenders and orange and yellow. The Celosia Rose Gold, as you would expect, is softer and more muted. So I think I'm going to grow both of those varieties of celosia. So yeah. Oh my goodness, you all, I could not be more excited about about my choices of seeds for this next season. Yeah, it's about time to get my seed trays ready. Make sure I've got the proper mix for starting seeds. You know, I will bring you along as I start to dream even more and make that dream a reality by getting some of these seeds in some soil and starting them off, hopefully, for a wonderful floral season. So thank you guys again for hanging out with me today. I'd love to hear from you all. What are your favorite cut flowers to grow from seed? Leave your comments in the description below. I'd love to learn from you. What are your tried and true favorites, so that other gardeners out there can maybe get inspiration from you as well. So until next time, I'm going to wish everybody out there happy gardening.